You may have heard of DEIJ before, but what does it actually mean? And how should it be embedded in an educational setting for pupils of all ages? Hi everyone, I'm Natalie from My Progression, and in today's video we're going to be discussing DEIJ, which stands for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion and Justice. I'm sure you'll already be familiar with DE and I, but in this video we'll introduce you to the J and explain why it's important. Whether you're in early years, primary, secondary, FE, or work with pupils with SEND or ALN, it's essential that DEIJ is embedded into your practice. Regardless of your role, DEIJ isn't about ticking boxes. It's about building a school culture where all learners and all staff feel respected, seen, and safe enough to thrive. So in this video, I'll take you through what DEIJ really means in a school setting, how it can show up in our everyday decisions, and share simple, practical ways you can make your classroom or education setting an inclusive environment. So what does DEIJ actually mean in schools? Let's break it down. Diversity is about recognising and celebrating different identities, backgrounds and experiences that pupils, families and staff bring to school, including race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexuality, disability, faith, class and more. Equity means giving every pupil and every staff member what they need to succeed. That's not always the same for everyone, and it goes beyond equality, as this means everyone getting the same. For example, during exam season, equality would mean that every student sits the same test under the same conditions. Equity means that students receive extra time, a reader, a scribe, or a modified paper because of their specific needs or access arrangements. Moving on to inclusion. This means making sure everyone is actively welcomed, valued, and able to take part. And finally, justice means looking beyond surface level inclusion to ask deeper questions like, who's being left out and are our systems fair to everyone? This sounds big, and it is, but it starts small within your classroom or educational setting. It starts with the books on your shelf, the language on your walls, and who you greet in the corridor, and how you respond when someone's voice or experience is missing from the conversation. You'll hear the phrase protected characteristics through this video. Protected characteristics refer to 9 specific aspects of a person's identity that are legally protected from discrimination. If you're enjoying this video so far and you want more from My Progression, subscribe to our channel. By clicking on the bell, you'll never miss an update from us. And liking our videos tells us more about what you want from us. So if DEIJ is an important aspect in your role, click the like. For more information on teaching about the protected characteristics, watch our video on teaching pupils about protected characteristics in school. It'll give you age-appropriate book suggestions, activities, and language to use with different year groups. My Progression is brought to you by Teacher Active, and keeping on top of your CPD just got even easier with the Teacher Active app. You can browse through all My Progression videos and test your knowledge straight away by gaining and downloading CPD certificates right onto your phone. If you're working with us as an educator, you can set your availability when it suits you. Earn when you want, learn when you can. Download the Teacher Active app today. How can you embed DEIJ into daily practice? There are lots of different elements to this. In this video, I'll be sharing some examples from across different school settings and ages. Firstly, consider the content of your curriculum. Representation really matters. Both pupils and staff should be able to see themselves reflected in what's taught and celebrated in schools. So EYFS, use storybooks that represent the different protected characteristics. This can include, but is not limited to, different families, cultures, identities, including disability, adoption, and neurodiversity. Primary, when teaching history or geography, include diverse perspectives. Talk about migration, activism, and lived experience, not just kings and castles. Secondary and FE. Challenge stereotypes and common misconceptions, use texts from a range of authors, explore real-world social justice issues in PSHE, and link science, art and maths to the achievements of diverse global figures. SEND and ALN. Use diverse sensory stories, symbol-based resources or social stories that reflect a wide range of identities and experiences. Pupils with SEND deserve windows and mirrors, just like everyone else. What do I mean by this? Windows and mirrors are metaphors for representation and self-understanding in education and learning materials. Mirrors allow students to see themselves reflected. Their identity, experiences, culture, abilities and challenges are acknowledged, valued and visible in the classroom. Windows allow students to see into the lives of others, to understand people who are different from them, creating empathy, inclusion and broader world views. What about beyond the classroom? Well, office staff should review the imagery on school newsletters, and pastoral teams can look at the posters, resources or assemblies they use to ensure they're reflecting and celebrating all students. So moving on to the classroom and school environment. Your environment, both physical and emotional, sends constant messages about who belongs. EYFS, you can use inclusive toys, dolls, dress-up clothes and resources. Ensure that your displays feature different family types, a range of cultures and languages and role models with different protected characteristics. Primary, similar to the EYFS, consider what you're displaying. Ensure that all visuals are accessible to all and show examples of different role models with protected characteristics. Put any classroom agreements on the wall, such as your class rules or a class charter that you've created with your pupils. It's vital that you ensure your reward systems don't unconsciously favour confident or extroverted learners. Secondary and FE. Consider where pupils sit. Who gets your attention or who's invisible in a classroom? Displays reflect only top achievers or a wider variety of student voices and work. Ensure that all students feel safe to participate without the fear of failure and feel that their ideas are listened to and respected. SEND and ALN. All classrooms should be sensory-friendly zones with accessible signs and multiple modes of communication such as visual timetables, objects of reference or AAC, which stands for augmentative and alternative communication. These are a range of communication aids that can be used alongside or replace verbal communication. If you're interested in finding out more about communication, check out the videos on BSL and Makaton in the description below. Outside of classrooms, the school environment also consists of corridors, receptions, staff rooms and halls. Therefore, every member of staff, from cleaners to admin to senior leadership, contributes to a culture of inclusion. Teaching practice and staff behaviour also have a big part to play in DEIJ. Inclusive teaching is about flexibility, listening and removing barriers. It's also about how we show up as adults. Regardless of the age of the child, or even if they're an adult that you meet, it's essential you don't make any preconceived judgments about any child's ability, opinions or home life, and that's just to name a few. For example, to avoid making assumptions about a child, ask them open rather than closed questions and prioritise student voice in your teaching. In all year groups, pupil voice is essential in surveys, reflections or group discussions. For children that need it, including those with SEND or ALN, you should offer regular check-ins, scaffold communication and differentiated resources. Consistency is key for all pupils, including having predictable routines and timetables. So think about it like this. Something that will benefit a child with additional needs will most likely benefit all children. For all staff, it's also about language. Watch for jokes, phrases or assumptions that might exclude specific groups. Worried about mispronouncing a name? Ask! Unsure of pronouns? Check quietly and respectfully. These small moments build trust between students and educators. And don't forget, staff-to-staff inclusion matters too. Are we hearing from all colleagues in meetings? Do support staff feel equally valued? Inclusion starts with how we treat each other, and this will reflect and influence our pupils. Something that people might not consider is assessment, feedback, and access. This is a huge part of DEIJ and should always be in the back of your mind when making assessment-related judgments. Equity in assessment means we're open to multiple ways of showing learning and mindful of the barriers some pupils face. It's important that you consistently consider DEIJ, and not just in summative assessments, but formative too. Summative assessments are the formal end-of-year assessments, where identified pupils have access to readers, scribes, extra time, or different exam environment if they need it. But what about the day-to-day assessment in the classroom, known as formative assessment? Well, it's important that you don't make judgments based on only specific tasks such as writing or reading. Let pupils show their understanding in different ways, including explaining out loud, drawing, or acting where appropriate. And finally, what about whole school culture and family engagement? DEIJ isn't just classroom work, it lives in policies, communication, and community engagement. Are policies like uniform, behaviour, or attendance inclusive and equitable in practice, not just on paper? Are communications accessible to families who speak English as an additional language, or who have limited internet access? Do parents and carers feel invited into the school community or just informed by it? Inclusion is stronger when families are partners, not just recipients. Overall, DEIJ, diversity, equity, inclusion and justice, should be in everything you do as an educator. Embedding DEIJ into your daily practice isn't about grand gestures or waiting for a special event. It's about consistent, small decisions that create a school where everyone, including pupils, staff and families, feel safe, seen and valued. It isn't a checklist, it's a mindset. And like all good practice, it starts with reflection and relationships. Whether it's choosing inclusive books, challenging a casual stereotype, or simply asking, whose voice is missing here? Every action you take matters. If you've got strategies that work in your setting, please share them in the comments. We love to learn from you. And if you want more bite-sized videos on inclusion, neurodiversity, or working with specific needs, just comment more and we'll keep the videos coming your way. I've been Natalie from My Progression, and let's keep your career in motion.